They know something we don't.
We are back with our deep dive into the latest and final trailer of Season 3 of Euphoria, Episode 8, the season finale. Now, after Episode 7 left us with Faye betraying Rue, we had Maddie owing Alamo, Cassie's now a widow, and Nate's dead. We're now left to wondering, how will this story wrap up? Well, based on this trailer, the shit really does hit the fan with multiple shots of police, we got people running for their lives, and maybe some of our characters not making it to the end. There's a lot to break down, so with that said, spoiler warning for the previous episodes, alongside my theories and predictions based on this trailer. Now, the title of this episode is In God We Trust. Now, we all know that religion and faith in God has been a big focus point of this season, so to me this title points towards Rue probably finally putting all her trust in God, and I believe we see her doing that at the very end of this trailer. The trailer opens with Lori's animals barking and screaming as Lori turns in her chair and she says that they know something that we don't. Now, we don't know who Lori's talking to in this scene, but it's safe to assume that it takes place after Faye betrayed Rue and maybe Wayne or Harley are upstairs to tell Lori what just happened. Now, remember the night before, Rue promised that she was on their side, but less than a few hours later, she's breaking into Wayne's safe to get Alamo's stuff. So you would have to imagine that they obviously know that Rue was lying to them, and now Lori and her crew are thinking Alamo might be compromising their current situation going on in Mexico. Now we get this shot of this woman walking into the main area of the Silver Slipper as we see G handing off a gun to Alamo, and we cut to seeing Rue talking to Ali about how so many people can be so evil. Now this shot here is very telling because we can see Rue is rubbing her hand, which has a duct tape on it after she was cut by Wayne in episode 7, which to me means that she managed to either escape or Lori just simply let her go. Or maybe Ali used that 12-gauge shotty and rescued Rue, and now they're at his house. Now, could this shot of Rue and Ali be towards the end of the episode when everything has went down and Alamo and Lori are dead or either arrested? I say that because if you look at Rue and Ali in the scene, they seem to be pretty relaxed in this moment. Now, Ali responds to Rue's question by saying that it's human nature because we're all selfish. Now, as he's saying that, we get this shot of both Maddie and Cassie looking disheveled as they look at each other. Based on their hair and makeup and outfits, I would think that this is probably the following morning after everything went down with Naz and after they found Nate's dead body. Now, I could be wrong, but if you look at Maddie's makeup and Cassie's makeup, they both look like they were just got done crying, but then we see this shot of Cassie who's smirking at Maddie. Similar to the shot of Rue and Ali, could this shot of Cassie and Maddie be after whatever happens with Alamo and they both survive? And Cassie smirking because it's her acknowledging that they've both been through some shit both in the past and everything they got going on this season. And despite all odds, these two ex-friends but now friends again managed to make it through it all together. Now next we see Lexi in her apartment with what looks to be something that's related to the TV show she's working on, as we can see names on the board, which seems to be characters from the show. Now this is the only shot that we get of Lexi in the trailer, and honestly I don't really know how her story with the show will factor into the overall final episode besides us ending with like some type of montage of showing us what happened after everything goes down, and Lexi probably will end up becoming some big writer and no longer an assistant to Patty. Now, speaking of not having a clue on what's going to happen with a character or how they will fit into the finale, we cut to Jules. Yet again, she's painting in Ellis's apartment, which is where she's been 99% of this season. Now, the shot here of her, we see her painting and she looks to be upset, crying, and seems to be pretty emotional. Now, does her being upset have anything to do with Ellis, who honestly I thought was going to be a little bit more important to the season, or does it have anything to do with Rue and her relationship with her? Here's a theory I'll throw out there. Now, assuming that Rue dies or goes to prison by the end of the season, what if this is Jules thinking about what Rue suggested, and that's them having a family together, and again, whether she is dead or alive or in prison, what if this shot of Jules of her painting is of her and Rue happy together like Rue wanted? Now, here we cut to the Silver Slipper where Alamo's taking a smoke and says to Rue that she was right all along about them being meant to be. Now, based on Rue's wound looking fresh and the outfit that she has on, this looks to be from the day and night before she injured herself before seeing Elordi. So again, it would appear that Rue makes it out of Elordi's place okay, and again, if that's Ali's doing, or maybe Alamo had his crew finally take out Elordi and her crew, and he also got his things back from the safe. Now, if all of that plays out the way I just said, it's safe to assume that Alamo will be questioning Rue about what Maddie said about her working with the DEA. Now here we get these quick shots of what looks to be G's truck in a high-speed chase. That's followed by someone riding a horse, and then we have Rue being pushed to the ground. And if you look closely, it looks like she has a white bag behind her, which makes me think that she took the stuff out of the safe and is trying to get it back to Alamo. Now, based on the location where all those shots were taking place, I would say that maybe G and the person on the horse, likely Alamo, chasing down Rue, as we can see that she's getting pulled off screen. Next, we get hit with a bunch of quick shots as we see Kitty counts down with 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Now here we see the police looking to be near where Alamo's ranch is. Here we see Kitty in the silver slipper, and based on the fact that she's standing, I don't think she got that BBL. But I want to go back to Kitty doing the Mississippis and also this shot of the snake. Maybe the police or the federal agents are actually headed to the silver slipper to make some arrests. Also, we already had one snake attack this season, but I am wondering if this snake will play a factor in the finale. Now here we see Bishop on a balcony on the phone, and it looks to be like he's in Mexico. Now, obviously, Bishop wasn't in episode 7, so maybe he was in Mexico during all the events of episode 7, and maybe Alamo secretly sent him to screw over Elordi and kill Mitch and take all the drugs himself, as we see Bishop walking down this hallway, which seems to be in the same location as the same spot he was standing on the balcony. I am very curious on how Bishop will play into the finale, because low-key, he's been one of my favorite parts of the season, so I'm really curious to know, like, is he going to wreck shop? Is he going to kidnap Rue's mom? Is he going to live or die? Really excited to see what they do with Bishop in this finale. Now this next shot is hard to make out, but based on this shot of Eddie in a truck and looking to be saying to police outside to hold on, I would bet that the first shots were of the police using those like heavy duty chainsaws to break into a truck where they know the drugs are. Again, I think this is all a part of one sequence of the agent stopping Eddie and the drug transaction as we see a helicopter in the sky. Now, we've seen this before, as the police are chasing someone, and that someone is no other than Rue making a run for it. Now, I could be wrong, but it looks like Rue is wearing the same hoodie from the same scene where she was talking to Ali earlier in the trailer. And again, we can see that the duct tape is on her hand, which gives us a better idea of when this is taking place in the episode. And again, that being her leaving Elordi's after the safe situation. Now here we are back at the Silver Slipper where a bottle of champagne falls and bursts on the ground. Is this the same scene where Kitty was counting down, again making me think that the cops or the agents are shutting down the operations and making their arrest at the Silver Slipper? Now our last shot has a closed caption saying that you're surrounded as Rue slowly walks down a hallway. Again, based on her outfit and her nose looking to be a little bit more healed in this scene here, I would say that this is all taking place in Ali's apartment, and this is probably after Rue ran from the police. And as I've been saying for weeks now, Rue's either going to die in this finale or she's going to go to prison like Fez. Now, based on this last shot, I think Rue's going to survive Elordi and Alamo and her running away from the police earlier, maybe because the deal that she thought she had with the DEA agents didn't work out in her favor, so she's probably doesn't want to face hard times, so she's just on the run. But in this shot of her in the hallway, maybe Rue is finally tired of running from her problems and she's accepted her fate. And this is her willingly going into custody, which again, she's going to maybe put her trust into God. Now, I might make a separate video with all my final predictions for all the characters and what I think will happen to them and how the story will end on Sunday, which, by the way, Sunday's episode will be an hour-and-a-half finale. But just in case I don't, here's a quick rundown of who I think is going to live and die as far as our main characters are concerned. Starting with Rue, question is, does she live? Does she take on the Book of the Dead and carry on Ali's legacy and like continues to help people and she goes to prison? Or does Rue die? I'm personally in the camp that she's going to live, but she's going to end up in jail. Now, speaking of Rue, let's talk about Jules. I think she's going to 100% live because honestly, I don't think she's going to be in the finale that much. Speaking of another character I don't think is going to be in the finale that much, that being Lexi, I think she's going to be okay. Again, I think she's going to probably get a promotion and become like a full-time writer. But again, I don't think she's going to have much of an impact on the finale. Switching over to Maddie and Cassie, I could see them both living and them really starting over as friends, especially now that Nate's out of the picture. Or maybe one of them dies, and if I were to bet who's going to die, I probably would say Cassie, and that being because Alamo might want to kill her. But again, I really do feel like both of these characters are going to survive. Speaking of Alamo, he's 100% dying. I can see him going out like a cowboy with guns blazing as the agents try to take him down. I have the same thing probably happening to Bishop and G and all of Lori's crew. They're going to probably all die, or if not, they're going to all go to prison. And I do see Lori surviving, but again, I see her going to jail as well. Now, characters like Ali and Rue's mom, I do see them being like in danger. More so, I could see Ali using that gun and trying to save Rue, and he might die in the process. Or we can see the situation where Bishop is going to kidnap Rue's mom, but she's going to end up being saved by Ali. So I feel like both of those characters are going to be like somewhat important, but I don't see Lisa dying, but I could see Ali not having a happy ending. And lastly, I do want to address the trailer saying that this was a season finale and not a series finale. It's been rumored for a while that apparently behind the scenes, HBO would like to continue Euphoria, but at this point in their careers, I highly doubt that Zendaya will come back as Rue, especially if she lives in this finale. We already know, obviously, Jacob's dead, so he's not coming back. Sydney Sweeney, I don't see her coming back. Hunter Schafer, like the only person that might come back is like Lexi. But if they are to continue on this show's legacy, I think there's a better chance that they have like a brand new cast, a brand new crew, and they have like a brand new story in the world of Euphoria. But again, I do think it is interesting that they've are phrasing this as a season finale and not a series finale, leaving the door open for more stories to be told in this world. With all that being said, I do look forward to this mini movie of an episode where I really do hope that if this is the last of Euphoria, that they do stick the landing and they end this story in a satisfying way. Alrighty, y'all, we have made it to the end of this week's trailer breakdown, and I want to thank you all for watching or listening. Do me a favor, man. Like I said, we might do another video later in the week. And if I do another video, please leave your theories and predictions in the comments because I might share that in the video and just have you guys pretty much run the video and I'll respond to your comments and whatnot. So let me know your thoughts and your theories and what you all hope to see in the finale as regards to who's going to live, who's going to die, how will the story play out. Let's talk about it in the comments below. And also let me know if you all think that this will be a series finale or if there will be more stories to be told. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you again for watching or listening to this week's breakdown. I'll be back, like I said, possibly later in the week with another video, but you can definitely expect to see my full breakdown of the finale coming out on Monday. Thank you all again for watching or listening. Check out my other videos that I have on my channel now. In the meantime, don't forget, you all are awesome. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next breakdown.